Well, that last episode was a little bit odd. I don't think I want to be visiting the land of the nod ever again, but season 2, episode 2 is a great episode, and it's called The Tale of the Midnight Madness. It's about a movie theater, specifically a special movie, an enchanted haunted reel that plays a movie so scary. People are dying to see it. And this one is told by our friend Frank. He has not been in this series very much. He told the very first episode, Tale of the Phantom Cab, and has basically been MIA, occasionally chirping in, and then Kristen slaps him and tells him to shut up, it's her show. In fact, the episode starts with, guess who, Kristen, holding some firewood and helping Gary and Betty Ann. And they discuss that their local movie theater has a triple feature. I've heard of a double feature, but man, triple feature. 6 hours of movie watching. I don't know if I want to do that. Called Fright Night, that Kiki and David are going to go and watch, which ties in perfectly to Frank's story, which is about a movie theater. Now, this gets a Most Improved Episode award. When it first started off, I was not very impressed, specifically because this looks absolutely nothing like a movie theater. In fact, I'm quite sure that they're using the same location that they used in Jake and the Leprechaun, of this auditorium in a high school, but the episode gets so much better as time goes on. It's just obvious they didn't film lots of this in an actual movie theater, where you could see a concession stand, where you could see people behind the counter. Instead, they set up a table, have a popcorn machine way in the back that you could barely see, and have a bunch of curtains behind them. It looks really bad. I'm not sure what happened here, but it gets a lot better. And this movie theater is called the Rialto. Not the Rialta, Rialto. And it's known for playing classic black and white movies, but business has been going under, so they have to raise funds to save the theater. The owner is Mr. Kristoff, and we have our two main characters, Katie and Pete. And Pete has a crush on Katie, but she's completely oblivious. This is actually quite funny, because he keeps asking her to hang out, and she just doesn't even know what's going on. She's like, no, I'm going to go do my homework, bye. Just has no idea that he likes her. A very relatable situation, you could say. So Pete's handing out tickets to people outside to get them to see the Rialto, and they get some unfortunate news that they're going to be closing down in a few weeks. So we get the appearance of a little hobbit man that we've seen in this series before. Despite this being a good episode, they just have to throw in a goofy character that with a giant beard that hops around and gives them this magical reel. He wants them to play his movie. You see, he's a filmmaker, and he gives them this film canister and begs them to play the movie at the Rialto. But the manager thinks this guy is crazy and tells him no. Now we of course know they're going to end up playing this movie. But considering the Rialto is closing down, I don't know why the manager doesn't just go, sure, whatever, we're kind of running low on movies anyways, we'll throw it out there. Dr. Vic tells him that if they play this film, all the business of the movie theater will come back because people love this one so much and they just get intrigued by it and they need to see it and spread the word to their friends. But the manager's kind of a doofus, so he blows them off for now. Girl Katie is played by Melanie Wessenthal, who is in one episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark? This one, that's it. That's her entire career. She does quite a good job being the aloof girl who's giving the cold shoulder to Pete. And Pete is played by Eddie Robinson, who started off his career good, starring in an episode of The Cosby Show and 51 episodes of Swan's Crossing. He only has 10 acting credits, so it seemed to taper off, as it tends to do with child actors. A lot of people just leave the biz. And I assume he's like an insurance salesman or something. I just assume they all become an insurance salesman. And of course, we got Cranky Kong himself, Dr. Vink, played by Aaron Tagger, a recurring character in Are You Afraid of the Dark? They love this character for some reason. He was in Tale of the Phantom Cab, first episode, the second episode, this one, and will appear in 3 more, reprising his character of Dr. Vink. I think this character is quite average. But DJ McHale disagrees. He thinks he's funny and hilarious, so we're going to see him like 6 times. He was also the MC in X-Men. So Dr. Vink appears and gives this movie reel to the movie theater saying that it will save them, and they decide not to play it. They put it in the production room. Dr. Vink does have a stipulation. He wants them to play this movie once a week, and they better do that, because if they break that rule, bad things are going to happen to them. Well, it's interesting because they don't immediately start playing this movie, just like I thought they would. They don't believe Dr. Fink. They think he's a crank. He does look a bit crazy. He's also claiming he made this movie in the 1920s, so that would require him to be super old. But as business begins to tank and one of their movies stops playing, the few people that still attend this theater get upset and cranky and want a refund. So they decide to play Dr. Fink's movie. They have nothing else. The projector's screwed up anyways, so they'll play his movie for the remaining people so they don't get too mad about the movie they wanted to see breaking halfway through. Guess what? Just as Dr. Fink predicted, they love it. This is a copy of the 1922 Nosferatu movie. It looks exactly like it. The main vampire is a replica of the vampire in that movie, but people love it. It's a silent movie, but it just gets right to their hearts. This isn't one where the movie is so scary that people are terrified. People just seem to really genuinely enjoy the movie and want to see it over and over again, whether it's teenagers, parents, and we even see a granny who's high-fiving the manager and being like, "That was pretty cool, bro." But the manager, Mr. Kristoff, is a bit of a doofus and decides not to show the movie once a week. Now that people are coming to his theater and he's making tons and tons of money and he doesn't have to sell the theater anymore, he thinks he has this all figured out and he's going to play first run movies, the brand new ones. He heard about this new family friendly movie called Reservoir Dogs that he's going to show for the kids. He doesn't want to show Dr. Fink's movies, and this makes Dr. Fink mad, and he decides to send the Nosferatu vampire from the movie at the staff of the Rialto. And we actually get to see some blood. Nosferatu vampire comes into the movie theater and he looks like this. The makeup is quite good. And he bites Dr. Kristoff, and we see 2 bloody marks on his neck. This episode's edgy. And we get a chase scene where he starts chasing the teenagers throughout this theater. Why this episode is so good is you don't know exactly where it's going to go next. It starts off as them just trying to save the movie theater. Then they get this reel, but they don't immediately play this reel. They wait, and then they break their promise to Dr. Fink, and now they have this monster after them. It's a roundabout way to get a monster chase scene, but also a lot more brainier than other episodes, since I think we can all relate to a movie theater that we used to go to. That went out of business. I'm cheap. Personally, I like the dollar theaters, and there were some dollar theaters where I lived until around 6 or 7 years ago. They were still around, but COVID pretty much killed them. And Kitty and Pete have an idea of how to beat this Nosferatu vampire. They themselves have to go into the movie and fight him. It's the only way. This is one of the higher rated episodes, and it really was a joy to sit through. Hitting on nostalgia, having a great monster, and some genuinely scary scenes. I didn't expect the vampire to actually bite Dr. Kristoff and leave blood marks on him. I figured he'd just push him down and he'd run away. And since the Are You Afraid of the Dark episodes don't always have a happy ending, there was a possibility that they would be trapped in this theater with this monster and lose. That has happened a few times here, especially in Tale of the Dark Music. I'll be making a top 10 best and worst episodes of the entire series after I finish the series, and I think this one's going to make it, though it's probably going to be towards the back. Let's look at some trivia. So this is the last episode to show a scene with the Midnight Society discussing the story halfway through. I liked it when they did that, but they're going to stop doing it. I guess they want to add that 1 or 2 minutes to the anthology story itself. Since these things are only 22 minutes long, you have an intro, a beginning and ending scene of the Midnight Society. So really you're looking at stories that are probably around 17 minutes in total. But call me crazy, I want more scenes of the Midnight Society. I want to learn more about them. And the skits that they've done so far have been pretty funny. Like the one where David's trying to ask Kristen out on a date. They seem to drop that stuff though. It's like they were building up a plot, like a romance plot, and there's, forget about that. And apparently the creator, DJ McHale, who wrote and directed this episode, stated this is his favorite episode. It was inspired by a movie theater he went to often as a kid. Well, DJ McHale, maybe you could have filmed it at that movie theater. Because that is one thing it's missing. It's missing a believable concession stand and a believable set. They do show a projector room, so they were able to get a projector for this episode, but still, it's obviously shot in a high school, but still well worth watching. The question is the next episode worth watching? A Tale of Locker 22, a ghost story, but one that does some flashbacks to the groovin' 60s. Yeah, that's the best part about the next episode. You get to see the most cartoonish characterization of hippies from the 60s with peace signs and tie-dye shirts and everyone saying groovy and tubular and far out. It had me laughing. So that one will come out in a few days. Check out our playlist for the other series that we've covered that have the episodes all in order. Tales from the Dark Side, Mystery Science Theater 3000, Black Mirror, Pet Shop of Horrors, Cowboy Bebop, and The Twilight Zone. We cover every single episode. I'm a bit of a completionist. The good, bad, the ugly. So join us. Thanks.